Good morning, relatives. Just try to. Starting out here at the edge of my garden and showing off the feverfews and the motherwort that I've pushed out a bit here from the red cedar tree. In the background, you may not be able to see it, but there's an arbutus weak arbutus that I've been tending for a couple of years. It's showing good buds. Step behind, move slowly. Back here, there's a pot of nasturtiums that I just put out here to go wild. Hopefully they'll take over the hillside somewhat. And that's an elecampane from last year. That should get quite big this year. It's quite large early in the season. And valerian. There's a Japanese maple, and then a willow, and an assortment of plants here on the range. See the dandelions starting to open up for the day. Let's get a shot of the dandelions. I'm really happy about all the dandelions in the yard this year, and this little cluster of flowers right in front of me. Quite happy about that. Moving up on the eventual willow hedge. Which willow's medicine, so good to have it around. And you see, what else was I remarking on this morning? These blue flowers, can't remember what they're called right now. Maybe I will once they come through. There's a bunch more of those this year. The mugwort is doing well. The comfrete's doing well. This scavenged patch of stuff is doing well. It's got little white flowers on the trees there. I think it's beautiful, and it'll get prettier. And over this way, you can see that motherwort from last year. That's the one that's doing the best in the yard, I think, right now. And it's going to start flowering in the next few days. What can we see here? There's my Japanese maple forest that I'm tending, and there's some Japanese maples in the ground, and some flowers of different varieties. And this is my first video of this year, really my first video. I had San help me take a video just to show stuff off. My oaks, kind of happy about the oaks. I thought I only had 5, but I had 6, and you know, they're in a variety of stages, but coming along. And what did I want to show off in here? The yews. That's right. The yews are a little bit shaded out on purpose. But let me see if I can get a good shot there. There we go. There's a couple hidden in the underbrush. You see the tips on the yews? That's new growth on yews. Yews are remarkably slow growing. And I have 4 that are doing really well, and 1 that was just a little scrap that kind of hang on, was just leaves for a bunch of years. And it finally started putting out new growth buds. Kind of happy about that. And that lavender. Let's take a look over here. Come back across the driveway and take a look at this chunk of stuff, because there's all kinds of beauty waiting to burst forth in there. Got poppies and daisies and valerians and Japanese maple and comfrey and all kinds of goodness. This is a potato bed. Last year it was a tobacco bed. This year it's a potato bed. And there's all kinds of stuff, companion plants that are already planted in there that are just starting to show. So I expect the potatoes are going to start budding here in like a day or 2. And this is garden in production. Believe it or not, there's garden beds under there. There's one from last year that got pumped right up this year. And this bed full of stuff that I thought was weeds that were telling me they were food. Apparently that stuff in there is food. It's a type of mustard, and it tastes really good, and I've added it to my diet. So that bed's already planted. And then what else? I wanted to show off the mints, if I can find them and identify them there. 4 kinds of mint. Had mint kind of going wild all kinds of places, but had to lock it down. contain it. So the part that I was really trying to get to is I really wanted to make this video to focus on this. I'm proud of this because I finally got all the dirt inside and outside of that fence sifted and sorted, and either topsoil or turned it into topsoil. And so it's got a different architecture this year. Here's my peas that are starting to go off. There's purple peas down in those pots. This ditch is one of the finishing aspects, was getting this getting these pots in a ditch deep enough in the ground that works. Getting my garden beds in there, like, filled out nice and thick. And those pots that are full of dirt, they've not been planted yet. Those pots are for my my premier plants, I guess I'll call them. The peppers, the tomatoes, the ganja plants. Let's take a look here. Maybe I'll step out of the... There we go. Some nasturtiums, mostly volunteer nasturtiums, that are just being prepped to be planted out. And for the sake of showing it off, because it's finally pretty enough that I think I can show it off, is a collection of beautiful things that I've gathered in my life. And water station for the bugs, sweetgrass. There's rosemary from the Fire Hall Memorial. I'm glad I'm growing sacred rosemary as far as the island's concerned. Yeah, I buff it up. It's not really sacred, but, it is to me. It has value to me. Let's take another look. Let's keep on going. Let's take a look from this side, see if we can get a good picture. There's some nasturtiums that I've popped out to transplant. Took them out of where they were volunteering, getting them ready to volunteer somewhere else. And this ditch, this is the thing that I'm proud of that wasn't really part of the project, but getting the earth cut down flat in this lane and then filling it up with the rubble from the sifting. That's a big deal for me, that I got like a dry, flat lane under a tarp that I can work on in the winter. So there's another bed that I put in. Might as well come all the way back, show off the back of it, because it's hard to get shots carefully here. There's so much going on. That's the willow water. I moved that a little bit to make room on the garden for these set of peas over here, which I'm not going to go past and show off. But the willow water upgrade, yeah, those are staves of willow. What they do is, maybe I should pull one out, is they root directly into the water. And they put rooting hormone in the water. So I take my the water I feed my garden every day from here, and so I'm pouring medicine on the plants all the time, every day. Well, all the time, every day is a little bit of an exaggeration. Every morning they're getting 3 mornings out of 4 they're getting medicine, food and medicine, and 1 morning out of 4 the garden gets straight water. I've got other things on the menu for later in the year, different combinations of compostable plants that I'm growing right here in the garden that become the fertilizer that feeds the garden. So there it is, potato patches and stuff ready to be planted in. And here's my fat ass compost pile. I guess I'll have to step back here. Got lots of volunteer potatoes in the compost pile. Happy about that. That's a pile of garden waste that just keeps getting bigger and bigger. And I could show off the seedlings, but I'd have to get pretty close. I'll just get an inside shot in there. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, you can see it. Those are tobaccos. I'm going to let them go for a week or 2 until they're fighting amongst each other, and then the strong ones get plucked out and and the strong ones keep getting plucked out. There's some strawberries there that are flowering already. I'm happy about that. Those produced all year, and we're still producing fruit in December. And I ate it and it tasted good. Tasted like strawberries. Anyways, I guess that's about it for an inside view. This space, I'm really proud of this space. It was an awful lot of hard work to take a look at that pile of rocks there, and take a look at the pile of rocks on the sides of the garden bed. I don't know if you can see them very well, but like all those piles of rocks that are marking the beds. Those beds have been dug down a foot, and all those rocks came out of that earth, and then all got sifted so that I could have the dirt in one pile and the rocks in another pile, so I'd have earth to grow in. Like this whole, that's why I'm proud of this whole thing, because it was just sand and gravel when I got here 3 years ago. And so that's why I'm making this video this morning. Thank you very much, relatives, for paying attention, if you paid attention. And hopefully when I make a new video in a week or two, there'll be more than dandelion flowers to show off. I hope. To all my relations.